Hi, just wanted to show you a web scraper that I've built for a small project I've been working on. Just a quick side note, web scraping is a bit of a grey area. In my case, the data is public and I'm only asking for it once, so it's probably alright. So this was actually my first time touching Python. So there are definitely improvements to be made, however it does what it needs to, so I'm all good with it. So the idea was to grab the box scores from the 2013-14 season in the NBA. So to do this, I built a Python script. So first thing we want to do is actually import a couple of packages that I've pre-downloaded. So requests and import. Sorry, it's actually from VS4. Import PA for soup. Okay, so these are the packages that we need. Requests, not entirely sure what it does. Beautiful Soup basically parses the HTML for us. Okay, so first we want is a base URL. So this is our URL that we point to say where we want to get the data from. And this is, I'm going to get this from espn.go.com/NBA/box scores $ID equals. So we put this 0 in here, that means we can manipulate it later and change that 0. So the start ID that we want to change, that we want to get the first game from, is actually 4004887. Now I just looked that up manually, there's probably better ways to get that, but that's how I did it. And the end one is 40490103. Okay, so what we want to do is actually create a variable called data where we're going to store all the information. So then we want to put it all in a while loop. So while start ID is less than or equal to end ID, we're going to keep doing this. So we call requests. We create a variable. We use the package requests to get the base URL in the format. This is now us changing the that little curly brace with this 0 there. So then start ID. So now we've got that, what we want to do is actually use Beautiful Soup to parse over that and get what we want. So request.text and html.parser. Okay, so then we need to grab out what tags we actually want to get from the HTML page. So the first one we want to get is the tables. So we just do that by calling our soup find _all t body. So I've just previously looked over the HTML for ESPN and worked out which ones I need to grab out. So now we want to grab a div, and we can actually specify what class we want. Oh, not that way. By doing this, and then calling. So obviously there's going to be lots of divs in the page, so we can do that to limit which ones we actually want. Now we want to grab another div, and this is going to be a different class. Game, time, location. So again, I've just looked through and found out which IDs and classes that I need to grab. Okay, so now we want to put this all in a big for loop, which is interesting. So now once we've got the page down, we want to so the reason I had to do this is because the HTML is a bit broken, it was hard to get the exact one out, so I've had to go a few levels above, and then once I'm in there, actually drill down again to get exactly the information I want. So teams and scores, not a great variable name, in team dot. So this is on each individual one. We want to find all, another div with the class equaling team info. Okay, so now once we've got that, what we can do is go for D in date. We want to pull back and throw some data in our list that we created before. We append. So the reason I put this in is just to give a new line break in between every game that I put in there. So we want to actually append the date and the teams. D.text. We'll grab that out of there. Okay, so then we want to create another for loop. So that puts a header for us, I guess, of the teams that are playing that we're about to grab. Okay, so now we go T in team, teams and scores. Create that another for loop. So we want to grab the info equals T.h3. Actually, I think that can probably be cut down a little bit. Anyway, we'll just put that in that way. It is append info.text. So what that does, it puts the teams and the scores in there. So the one before just put the date, now we put the teams and the scores so we can see who's won. Okay, so now the next one is actually getting out every record of every player in there. So tables, another for loop. So we go stats equals table. We want to drill down again. Dot find all. We want to find all the table data. So because we actually grab more than what we want there, we need to narrow it down with an if statement. So we're just going to check the length of stats, and if it's greater than 21, we want to do something, which is in another for loop. We go for stat in stats data dot append stat dot text. Okay, and so now we've grabbed all the information that we need to get. So all that's left for us to do is, in this while loop, we want to increment so we're not in an endless loop. So we go start ID plus equals 1. No comma. Alright, so that's it. And then I just chose to write that to a file. Just was simple. So to do that, we simply call file, open, and create a file. I just call it p data.txt, and we're going to write. So then for player in data, we want to just simply write that. So we just call our file that we've opened dot write. Put the string in there, and then we just create a new line because that's what I want to do. And we just go percentage player. And then we just clean it up and close the file. File.close. And that's it. So pretty simple, good way to get it down. Could be better, but a good learning experience.